התעוררי, התעוררי, תברך קומי אורי, אורי אורי שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך דילה, לך דודי, לך כלה, בליל שבת נקבלה, לך דודי, לך כלה, בליל שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, לך אדוני, לך כלה, בליל שבת נקבלה, לך דודי, לך כלה, בליל שבת נקבלה. Turn to those around you, wish them a Shabbat Shalom. Let them know you're glad they're here. We're going to remain standing through page 34. We turn to page 26 for Chatzi Kaddish as we remain standing through the Shema. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. Amen. Yolmad v'rach yerutei v'yamlech malchutei. L'chai echon u'vyom echon u'v'chayei l'chol beit Yisrael. Bagala, bagala, ubizman karim, v'yimaru, amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevarach, le'olam olamei olamaya. Yitbarach, yitbarach v'yishtabach, yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnasei, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal, shmei dekodesha v'richa leila min kol birchata v'shirata tush v'chata v'nechemata namira me'alama v'imaru. Amen. Page 28. Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach le'olam va'ed. On page 30, we continue with Ma'ariv Aravim, praising God for the gift of creation. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chokma poteach she'arim, uvit-vuna mishane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umisader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono, borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, Uma'avir yom ume'vi laila, uma'avdil bein yom uvein laila, Adonai tzavaot shemo. El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu la'olam va'ed, Baruch ata Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. On the bottom of page 33, we read responsively. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol.
All these things your Torah gives to us.
And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives.
What could be a truer token of your abiding love
than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Please be seated. Please join with me on the top of page 36 in the Ahavta. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meodecha ve'hayu advarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'derech uv'shokbecha uv'kumecha וקשרתם להוד על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Amen.
On the top of page 41, we read together in anticipation of Micha Mocha on page 40, which is to say, after we read together, we will not turn the page. Join with me. Sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come, the song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace.
Baruch atah Adonai Ka'al Yisrael. We continue on the top of page 43 together in whatever mode so moves us. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Ashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu. Ashkivenu, Shalom. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Ashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu, Eloheinu Leshalom, Leshalom. And understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms.
Page 44.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat lidorotam, berit olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat lidorotam, berit olam. Beini
Shabbat Lidorotam Deritolam Vishamru B'nei Yisrael Et HaShabbat La'asot Et HaShabbat Lidorotam Deritolam Ubayom Hashvi Shabbat Vayinafash Shabbat Vayinafash Vishamru B'nei Yisrael Et HaShabbat La'asot Et HaShabbat Lidorotam Deritolam Vishamru B'nei Yisrael Et HaShabbat La'asot Et HaShabbat Lidorotam Deritolam. We rise for the tefillah on page 46.
Adonai Sefatai Tiftach Ufi Agi Tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer HaSadim.
V'zocher chasdei avot v'imahot u'mevih Yehuda libnei b'neihem למען שמו באהבה מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם מכלכל חיים בחסד מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים סומך נופלים ורופא חולים ומתיר אסורים ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר מי כמוך בגבורות ומן המלך מלך ממית ומחייך ומצמיח ישועה ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יעלנו חסדה ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. You may be seated. On the top of page 55, we read together. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. On the bottom of page 57. You are with us in our prayer, our love, and our doubt, and our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otecha levadecha b'yira na'avod. I have a prayer of thanks I want to offer, not in our prayer books. The words of poet Ruth Bryn remind us that it is in the moments of turmoil, when the world doesn't seem to be quite what it should be, that we're most obligated by our tradition to find ways to give thanks, to appreciate what is ours, what is good, to cherish the possibility of what is yet to be. She writes, "For the blessings which you lavish upon us in forest and sea, in mountain and meadow, in rain and sun, we thank you. For the blessings you implant within us, joy and peace, meditation and laughter, we're grateful to you. For the blessings of friendship and love, of family and community, for the blessings we ask of you and those we cannot ask, for the blessings you bestow upon us openly and those you give us in secret. For all these blessings, O ruler of the universe, we thank you and are grateful to you. For the blessings we recognize and those we fail to recognize, for the blessings of our tradition, for the blessings of return and forgiveness, of memory, of vision, and of hope, we share in the Hebrew at the end. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lechodot. Eternal God, whose nature is goodness, for all your gifts, big and small, we give you thanks and praise." On page 60, we sing Shalom Rav, our prayer for peace.
Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Ki ata melech adon, echol hashalom. Ki ata melech adon, echol hashalom. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim leolam leolam. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim leolam. B'tov b'einecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael, b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim leolam. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Baruch atah Adonai, Amvarech et amo Yisrael, Shalom.
Having just offered prayers for peace in the world, we now pause to offer prayers of hope and healing for those who face the future not fully whole in their own lives. If there's someone in your life, someone who is on your mind, who you hold in your heart, who's in need of our prayers for healing, I invite you to think about them now. Close your eyes if you wish. Picture them. Whisper their names out loud. strengthened by each other's presence. We link our own prayers for those in our own lives, extending those prayers to all those who are listed in our order of service, people in our community and beyond, and to all in the world who need prayer, who need love, who need hope. We join together to sing Misha Berach, which you can find on page 253 if you need the words, as we sing together our prayer for healing.
Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Imotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Amen. We take a few moments now for our own personal silent prayers. I love teaching Torah, but I love it even more when other people teach Torah. And this Shabbat, we are delighted to welcome up Dr. Michael Ozer, who will teach some Torah on this week's Torah portion. Ki tisa.
Shabbat Shalom. Certainly, the heart of this week's Parsha, Ki Tisa, is the incident of the golden calf. Israel angers God by worshiping an idol. Worshiping God in the form of a physical being, something forbidden by the second commandment. But this is not what I'm going to talk about tonight. I'm going to focus instead on the census that God commands Moses to take at the top of the Parsha. In Exodus 30, verse 12, when you take a census of the Israelite people according to their enrollment, each shall pay the Lord a ransom for himself on being enrolled, that no plague may come upon them through their being enrolled. Now it goes to say that it goes on to say that each man shall pay a half shekel as an offering to the Lord from the age of 20, and that the rich were not to pay more and the poor were not to pay less than this half shekel. The Torah teaches that it is forbidden to count Jews in an ordinary manner. So a census has to be done in a direct manner by everyone giving a standard coin and then counting the coins instead of counting people. Now, this may have originated in a superstitious fear of evil eye. That is, if you take pride in how many people are in your family, there might be some disaster that may befall you or one of them. And there's another theory that because of the age of 20 was mandated or designated, the census might be related as a preparation for battle or the obligation for military service. But how can we apply the lesson of a call for census to our current life here as Jews in America and San Antonio in Texas in 2024? Coins are interchangeable, but people are not. Every human is unique and can't be reduced to a number. And in fact, the word for taking a census in Hebrew is naso, which means lift up or elevate the head. Naso is actually another parsha later this year in the book of Numbers, where a census is also taken. What our sages and our commentators want to imply is that God stamps out every human as sort of a unique coin. We are all created B'Tselem Elohim in God's image, but we are each unique. No two coins are exactly the same, and each of us has a very special role to play. Life is a gift, and in a sense, we owe God something for just being alive. We can never take life for granted. In a sense, God is saying that each person owes a ransom for their life and for just experiencing life every day. The half shekel should also teach us that each person is incomplete, becoming whole only by joining with others. In those days, contributions were made and were used for the tabernacle. But now that there is no temple or animal offerings, we offer gratitude for being alive by giving tzedakah to the poor. Thus originated the custom in many traditional synagogues on Purim, which comes in 3 weeks' time, to donate funds during the service by placing a tray to collect those contributions in front of the bima. But let's take this further. There is a great sense of power of unity in a nation or a community when everyone is focused on the common good and on a common goal. When everyone joins in a constructive cause, the spiritual merits of all the individuals become enhanced. Several weeks ago, I was honored to be part of a solidarity mission to Israel with Temple Beth-El of Los Angeles. We experienced firsthand and participated in activities with Israelis to pick peppers at farms in the Gaza envelope, and also to make sandwiches for the IDF, for the troops that are fighting in Gaza. We listened to stories of survivors of the 10/7 terrorist attacks from the victims of those who experienced them. We were bearing witness to these Israelis, I would say, raw pain that they were experiencing, and loss of friends, loss of family. And we were experiencing that by being present for them. We were overwhelmed, I think, by the sense of appreciation we felt from those we listened to. Our Israeli brothers and sisters appreciated just us being there to give them hugs and to listen, to hear their stories. The message here is so vital, especially now, during these challenging times in the aftermath of 10/7 and with rising anti-Semitism here in the United States and even here in San Antonio. When we act together as community, whether it be our Jewish Federation, supporting Israel and our local agencies by donating funds or attending rallies here in San Antonio, or a solidarity mission to Israel, or when we write our city council members to prevent a resolution hurtful to our Jewish community from being considered, when we attend service here at Temple Beth-El or any of our local synagogues, when we attend classes, when we learn Torah, when we volunteer at the food bank every month, when we work on social action projects through RAC, our projects here at Temple with Ross Halfan, such as last Sunday's blood drive, we are always stronger as community. We are also always stronger as community when we each respect the unique qualities of each individual. Every individual needs, of course, to be constantly searching for ways to fine-tune themselves and improve themselves as they try to create a better version of themselves or herself. But if we work together and pool our resources and talents, we can soar even to higher degrees of accomplishment. What we're working toward is really a two-step accomplishment. Taking ourselves to a higher level. We take ourselves to a higher spiritual level, actually, by participating in community and working together to strengthen community resources for the future. 2 weeks ago, in her Devar Torah, her E-Devar, on Thursday, for Parsha Teruma, Rabbi Nathan quoted the linchpin directive from God to Moses from Exodus 25, verse 8. Ve'asu li mikdash b'shachante b'tocham. Let them make me a sanctuary that I may dwell among them. Let them make me a sanctuary that I may dwell among them. To emphasize the teaching of the Malbim, a 19th century Russian Torah scholar, who said, and I quote, "The physical sanctuary of God is just a reminder of what God really wants, that each person builds a sanctuary within his or her heart for God to dwell therein. God has no need to dwell in buildings. What God desires more than anything is to live in each of us. Creating a beautiful life Rabbi Nathan said, is less about what we have than about how we experience life by building our own lives as sanctuaries to God. My hope and prayer for us this Shabbat as we study and learn from the census in Parsha Kitisa is that each of us tries to make a better effort to contribute to the whole. Each of us has a special role to play. We each have unique qualities. Then together, we can strengthen community and become better stewards of the future of Torah values that our ancestors worked so hard to achieve before us. In a sense, we can stand on their shoulders. We can stand on their shoulders and become ambassadors in creating the best world possible for our children and grandchildren. Then whether we are bearing witness in solidarity to our brothers and sisters in Israel or here in San Antonio, through little acts of kindness and chesed and generosity and thoughtfulness, we can each spread God's light far from the walls of the Mishkan or this temple and help others who need that light through our actions. As one of our sages, Rabbi Tarfon, says in Pirkei Avot, while we are not required to finish the work, neither may we desist from contributing. Shabbat Shalom.
Yesher Koach. We turn to page 283 for the concluding portion of our service for Aleinu. Please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא שם חלקנו לייחד את שמו, לגאור עלינו להמליך מלכותו, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. As we prepare to join in the words of the mourner's Kaddish, we turn to page 289 for meditation number 2 from the New Union Prayer Book. In nature's ebb and flow, God's eternal law abides. When tears dim our vision or grief clouds our understanding, we often lose sight of God's eternal plan. Yet we know that growth and decay, life and death, all reveal a divine purpose. God, who is our support in the struggles of life, is also our hope in death. We have set God before us and shall not despair. In God's hands are the souls of all the living and the spirits of all flesh. Under God's protection we abide, and by God's love are we comforted. O life of our life, soul of our soul, cause your light to shine into our hearts and fill our spirits with abiding trust in you. On this Shabbat, we consecrate the yard sites observed in our congregation this week of Abe Alperin, Nelson T. Alter, Elizabeth Anderson, Joseph J. Barsha, Ann Baskin, Caroline Strauss Bodenheimer, Sophie Bodenheimer, Dr. Howard Britton, Helen E. Brisman, Omer Burris, Lee Ronald Cantil, Ida Croft, Edward A. Dominguez, Jacob Dureski, Philip Eisenstein, Abe Epstein, Jordan Alexander Feiner, Solomon Feldman, Charlotte Cushman Friedberg, Miriam Victor Friedman, Stanley Friedman, Herman R. Friedson, Ethel Furr, Sam Gates, Maria Reina Garza, Irving Gindi, Lilo Goldman, Jack Guggenheim, William Horowitz, Harold Hughes, Pat Jackson, Margot Kempler, Jerome Kerman, Major General Retired Stanley Kolodny, Kenneth Ladenson, Dorothy Rosenthal Layton, Gladys Lazarus, Jim Levy, Marion London, Robert Rob Marbut, Flora Davila Mata, Irving Middleman, George Miller, Terry Miller, Lloyd T. Munter, Milton Munter, Esther Nichols, Lena Patilia, Hannah Pomerantz, Gerald Rabinowitz, Isidore Ruse, Dr. Robert J. Rubin, Rose Rubin, Ellen Schwartz, Joseph Shanefield, Susan Scholar, Donald Smallwood, Freda Spadell, Ermila Tammy, Bernard Truhaft, Nola Tripp, David B. Vinson III, Meme Ray Washer, Frederica Wolf, and Richard Zimmerman. To their memories, we link the names of 5 who in the last 30 days Shloshim have been laid to their eternal rest. We remember Sarah Carlin, Joyce Efron, Lynn Jeffrey, Helen Kerman, and Jacqueline Ann Klein. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for a blessing along with all those we hold in our own hearts each and every day. Our griefs and sympathies are mingled as we turn to page 294, rising as one congregation to share in the words of the mourners' Kaddish together. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach yiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'zman karev v'yamru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mivarach le'olam omei omaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei d'kudesha b'rechu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiram be'alma v'yamru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'yamru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, Hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'yamru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we say, amen. You may be seated. It's my pleasure to call up our Temple President, Debbie Ruse, to offer greetings on behalf of the Board of Trustees and to share some announcements.
I'd like to welcome everyone, and I'm so glad that you could join us in our sanctuary or at home in your own sacred space. Thank you so much to Sisterhood for sponsoring this evening's pre-Shabbat oneg. Thank you to Margot, Marcy, and Jan for lighting tonight's Shabbat candles. And thank you very much to Dr. Mike Ozer for offering the Devar Torah. Thank you also to the Temple Beth-El Band for this evening's beautiful music. And I'd also like to welcome our special guests this evening, TMI's Social and Religious Studies students and their instructor, Dr. Brian Laporte. It is so special to have you here and to be learning about our congregation and our traditions, and we really appreciate you being here tonight and learning all about us. And a special thank you to their amazing docent, Hannah Margolis. Several months ago, when they were resurfacing the San Pedro parking lot, we entered the building for Shabbat through the Ashby doors. It got me thinking about entrances into the building. The ones through the porte cochere, the ones on Ashby, the ones on Belknap leading to the sanctuary, the set further down Belknap leading to the Belden foyer, the ones through the kitchen, and the ones leading to the classrooms on the lowest level on the San Pedro side. I'm sure I missed one or two, but the point is, there are lots of ways to enter our sacred space. Maybe not on the daily, but certainly as a possibility. In our executive committee meeting yesterday, we talked about the myriad events and programs in the recent and upcoming months here at Temple. As I considered the varied list of things, from the Purim Carnival and the all-ages Taylor Swift-themed Purim Spiel, to workshops on Israel and Israeli poetry, from social action programs to social luncheons, from business of the synagogue to celebrations of our legacy, I was acutely aware of how many metaphorical doors there are into our sacred space. And none of the ones I just listed even included worship, which is a fundamental door for many, but certainly not all. Such diversity in our programming allows members to pick the door or doors into their Jewish lives. We all have our habits, our comfort zones, our ways of being Jewish. We also have the capacity to grow, learn, and explore, perhaps finding a new door or placing a do not enter sign on one that doesn't feel so comfortable. For my own part, in the last 2 years, I've entered several new doors I'd never tested before. While my Shabbat attendance increased dramatically, first out of responsibility, Marty and I have developed both a love of the peace and a love of the community Shabbat gives us. We discovered the beauty of Salichot, where our Torah covers change into their high holiday attire. We marched for MLK. We sang and studied during Shabbat Shirah. We made Hamantashen with friends who had become friends over the last 2 years. I studied Hebrew. I learned about Israel, Judaism in the 21st century, and Jewish poetry after October 7. These things were all new to me, were made possible by Temple, and enriched my Jewish life. These doors exist here in abundance, and we simply need to walk through them. Therefore, I invite you, no, I challenge you, to explore more of the things that Temple has to offer. Better yet, grab a friend and walk through the door together. To be honest, you have very little to lose and a lot to gain. As my mother always used to say, try it, you might like it. I look forward to seeing you at the events I'm about to tell you about and the ones I'll share with you in the upcoming weeks. Beginning with Tzedek Thursday on March 7th from 12:30 to 3:30 p.m. We'll be participating in the community kitchen shift at the San Antonio Food Bank. The Purim Carnival that supports Temple Beth-El youth programming is Sunday, March 24th at 12 p.m. The Purim Carnival is the largest fundraiser for youth programming at Temple Beth-El. The funds raised directly support the Jewish experience our children have here at Temple, from Sunday Fun Day to Safety, which is our 8th to 12th grade youth programming. Hamantashen, wristbands, raffle tickets, and more are available now. Finally, for tonight, Temple Beth-El's annual fundraiser honoring our past presidents will be held Saturday, April 13th at 6:30 p.m. Evites were sent recently, but please check your mailboxes soon for formal invitations. As you can tell, there's a lot going on here, and we hope that you'll join us in these community building events. A full schedule of events and registration links are listed in the events page on our website and in our weekly email, which arrives in your inbox around 4 p.m. every Thursday. Shabbat Shalom.
Our closing song is Oseh Shalom. You can find the words in many places, but 62 is a good one. And I invite you to rise. 62.
Oseh Shalom, Ben Rama, Uyaseh Shalom, Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'imeru, Amen. Oseh Shalom,
Shabbat Shalom.